Hi folks, I'm going to give you a video tour of my kitchen garden. Have to start in the front yard though, which is looking okay despite the fact that it's been much neglected. Needs more weeding and lots of deadheading. But this brings us to the side of the house, which is where the kitchen garden begins with all these containers. I spent the early hours of this super hot day trimming these and the tomatoes in the kitchen garden and tying them up better. So these are looking pretty good. These pots got a completely new, fresh, organic potting soil in them this year. So they have not really been hit by the tomato diseases I always get. Now out towards the kitchen garden, this area where there's a bit of a mess. I still have many things to plant. Oh, here's one other tomato. This is an iron lady, and it's supposed to be disease resistant, but it hasn't been when I put it in the ground or when I had it by the other pots. And I read something this year that said you should keep it away from other tomatoes. So here it is, and so far so good. Disease resistance is working. Here's a look at the cottage style bed in the back here. This is where I've been pulling stuff out, and I'm going to put in my Midsummer Night's Dream theme fairy garden, I hope. Maybe I'll get it done before the 4th. Over there are the apple trees. I did nothing with them this year as far as trying to ziplock them and protect them from the worms, but I'll just cut away the parts I can't use. And here's the kitchen garden. I did give it a good watering this morning, as well as the cleaning up. So this is the raspberry bed. It got redone this year. Raspberries and roses died back a lot over the winter. Here's a blackberry bush. Ooh, there's my second bunch of Japanese beetles. Okay, got them. The first one had that I spotted earlier this morning had the misfortune to land by me when I was wearing gloves. I don't normally do that, but if I've got gloves or leaves, I'll do it. Got to get rid of these guys. Prevent more from coming. I usually, it's time to put out a container of soapy water, so I can just knock them into their bubbly bath of death. Anyway, this is the herbs and edible flowers bed. The blackberry is in there just waiting for a place to come. Oh man, I see more of these guys. What a tour this is for you. Okay, we need to start Japanese beetle patrols. So there you go. You know what they look like. You know they have to be eliminated as soon as possible before they call all their friends over. Here is the strawberry bed. It too got redone, a lot of die-off, and so I've interplanted many other things here. I'm letting the borage grow because that's good for them, plus it's an edible flower. I interplanted leeks, wax beans, and just yesterday I put out bush cucumber seeds here too. Also have some fun teddy bear sunflowers coming up in lines at the back. And next are my 2 tomato beds. So they're looking nice and fresh now that I just have been trimming them and serenading them. They've started to get some disease at the bottom, so I pruned off all the bottom leaves, things that were touching the ground, turning yellow. Pruned what else I could. Oops, see, here's a sucker I missed. Trying to keep the circulation open here, and when I say I was serenading them, I'm spraying them with an organic product called Serenade to help keep that disease from spreading. Got a nice sunflower coming up here. Peppers down there. In between the tomatoes here are celery plants. Here's 2 eggplants, one on each side. I harvested one from the other plant, and now I see this one has one ready to harvest. So there's the back side of these tomato beds. Now are the green bean beds. The beans are climbing up these supports. I've got little geraniums to put in these pots at the top, make it cuter. Got some on clearance for 50 cents. I'm waiting till after the heat wave to stick them out here. Mrs. Green Beans is now fully dressed. Her skirt has filled out, and those bean plant vines will continue to grow up. They usually grow up inside her shirt and out by the neck. Oh, there's one coming already, see? So, oh, more Japanese beetles. After this video, I'm going to get out here and get them all. Just can't do it while I'm filming. Got some zucchini going here. Started from seed in this bed. More sunflowers. There's the snow peas back there in the back of the bean beds. They're starting to wane. When they're dried up and gone, I'll pull them up. I have zinnias coming up in here too. But I have little metal ones to hold the look to come. This is the Cukes and Bikes bed. I actually just planted the cucumber seeds recently. I already have nasturtiums in there ready to climb up and hopefully help keep cucumber beetles away from those cucumbers. I've got two kinds of kale going down the sides here. Different sorts of lettuce in there. Amaranth, of course, is growing. Here's my tallest one. These will grow taller than I am, and the plume will get only bigger and bigger. I've enjoyed harvesting the little ones and using them like spinach greens, but I always let a few grow to full height because they look cool, and then they'll seed themselves. And this is the broccoli bed. This year I have broccoli. Not only broccoli, but I've done Brussels sprouts plants down the middle, as well as Swiss chard. I haven't thinned the Swiss chard, so it's not as big-leaved and thick as the Swiss chard over here by Mrs. Green Beans. Just forgot to point that out to you, but yep, I got the Swiss chard on either side of her too. So back here in the broccoli bed, I interplanted celery. The celery that I put here was started later, and they're not doing real well. They haven't really been growing much. There's a tiny one. Here's a couple more. Some of the early sown carrots look like they are coming. Carrots never do well for me. So, more sunflower coming up in here, and borage, of course. Broccoli is starting to form its heads. After I cut those off and harvest them, I will get side shoots and harvest those. So I still haven't added more soil to the baskets of potatoes. There's one. There's the other. Herbs in pots, lettuces in pots. Hoping to have morning glory vines growing over the arbor here, and the one at the front. So that's the kitchen garden. Thanks for joining me on this tour. And now we tell the whole garden, grow!